If you don't get housing right and the ability for people to access affordable housing, irrespective of where they live, irrespective of their occupation, you're going to see great social dislocation and a growing sense of inequality in Australia. I've heard this podcast and you talk with the likes of Andrew Hastie and others who would love to see the train arrive here in terms of populist right-wing politics. And the only reason it fundamentally hasn't taken off here is because the gap between the haves and the have-nots in Australia is not as wide as it is in those places. It is because we have a great safety net where populists, political movements who simply offer no solutions but simple messages don't have the conditions, the preconditions to exploit it in the same way. Where in England, people who are factory workers, people who are blue-collar workers, because of the fact they can't access housing and have great connectivity to important services, they're ripe for exploitation by people who offer simple messages and no solutions like Farage. And we've got to make sure Australia continues to be this cohesive society, this society where if you're a police officer, you're a tradesman, or you're a doctor, you can get a roof on your head and get access to critical services. We've got to keep that up because if we don't, there'll be great dislocation and there'll be great disruption to this very idea of being an egalitarian society, which is why I'm passionate about housing and how we solve for it. And, you know, it's not for lack of trying, but the issue is really that I don't think we're trying in the right way to solve for this issue. In fact, sometimes we're exacerbating this issue through schemes and incentives that drive demand. I mean, any private operator, every time there's a grant or an incentive, they'll do what any merchant does. They build it into their price. And who pays? It's the same consumer, the same person you're trying to help, say a young person, to get into the market. I'm all for removing barriers to accessing housing. And it's not just any housing. If you're a young person, you want to live where there are opportunities for social mobility. This is why it's important. And this is what's being missed here.